I gotta confess, Lent has been kicking my ass and hurting me in different ways that I have not expected. But I will have to admit that it's been completely worth it, especially seeing the progress and changes I've had mentally, physically, emotionally, and especially spiritually. As you can see, I am now filming at night. It's pretty much because I am now on a mid-schedule for work, and I think it's going to present a unique opportunity for me to learn new things and experience life in a whole new way, especially living now as a vampire where I'll be awake all night and pretty much sleeping during the day. But it'll be interesting also to see how I can be an active service and a tool for God to use in other people's lives now that I have a unique schedule that makes me available where I previously wasn't. But on to the main thing, which is pretty much giving you a progress update for my Lenten journey during March. So for faith, what I'm doing is working on seeking daily guidance from God, especially because I have this whole thing where I want to do things my way, but my life history has proven that usually doesn't work out. So pretty much learning to let go of control and seek guidance every single day, especially in my romantic life, because that's where I'm most insecure about, especially when it comes to letting God take control, because it's a huge step of faith. And usually a lot of people have questions about that, but I'll go deeper into that in the romantic section of this video. So some things I've been doing to be able to seek guidance is, one, now on Tuesdays at my parish, I pretty much attend adoration, which is just nice to just sit there with Christ and basically just talk like I would to any other person and sit there and, one, be quiet and try to listen and not impose my way on things. It's a unique practice, and sometimes I do feel insane about it, but I usually walk away with a sense of peace, calm, and usually the answer is the same of don't worry about it. Focus on the things that I've given you to work on, and you'll be fine. So definitely growing in that sense of just letting go of the anxiety and insecurity, especially when it comes to facing other people's critiques about my faith and how pretty much they want me to embrace more logic, which is a valid argument, and they do make a lot of sense to points, but they also don't follow my faith. So it's a weird balance trying to explain to them, and I just came to a point where, you know what, stop trying to explain, just live my life and let them see how things go, and then they can make their own determinations based on that evidence. When it comes to family and friends, it's more friends focused at the moment and not pursuing people to chase them down to maintain a relationship. And what I found is pretty much there's two people who will hit me up almost on a near daily basis because they want to interact with me and spend time with me. And actually, I deeply appreciate that because it feels like I don't have to work hard. It's either they're completely in a whole habit of just talking to me that often, or it's something that they truly want to do, but it is something that I'm not going to think too much and just enjoy the fact that there's these two people who are awesome and amazing in my life, and I'm really glad to have them. As for fitness, that's a unique journey. I have been losing fat and I'm very happy about that, and because I've already learned how to detach my emotions away from the weight on the scale, I do see progress not only in the scale but also in the mirror and by taping myself. So my goal is still to get down to 230 pounds, not degrees. So my goal is still to get to 230 pounds, and so what is most important is, of course, losing fat over what the number is. So, and even more important than that is how do I feel about myself when I look in the mirror. And I can say every day I appreciate what I see more and more, and pretty much that building of self-confidence has been so good, especially just being able to let go of comparisons I've been doing in my mind, knowing that I am wonderfully and beautifully made and completely unique, just like everyone else is completely unique and beautiful in their own ways. I just gotta let go and stop thinking that somehow I'm less than or not as good. I'm just in a different state of physical health. For finance, definitely have been doing a lot better, especially double checking before I buy things and pretty much putting out everything. It's like, okay, what do I need to do for these 2 or 3 weeks that will cover this, and what is it that I'm trying to do in the end? And keeping that in mind every single day, especially on days that I have to pay for things. I'm like, okay, what will be the end result for this purchase? Like, I have no problem. Like, I just recently bought wrist wraps for the gym because my wrist's been hurting. So in my mind, that's not reckless spending. That's investing to achieve a different goal, rather than pretty much like how I would go out and buy various foods. Though it may be healthy food like sushi or something like that, it's not something that will be a complete investment because that is a lot more expensive and something I don't need to do as quite often. So thinking in those terms have been very good, and I've been seeing a lot of progress in my savings and other portfolios, though that's also under consideration of how the markets are going. So thankfully, and this is something I haven't been blessed with, and I know not everyone else is the same as me, but I'm able to just let it go and be like, okay, it is going to do what it does. And I know that eventually in the future, it will be better. For education, what I've been doing actually is reducing the amount of political input I've been getting in, because I do have my bias. Naturally, I am politically more liberal and oddly traditionalist to a certain degree. But one thing I've noticed is by getting rid of a lot of or filtering the political input I've been getting in, I have been losing a lot more of, I would say, extremism and radicalism, not looking at my opponents as enemies anymore, more just group of people who I deeply have many major disagreements with, but I don't see them as evil or people that need to be defeated. It's more, how can I convince them of a different way of thinking? Which has also helped me emotionally be able to just let go of so much anger and trying to control things, because if I desire freedom to be able to grow and excel, I have to allow people to come to different conclusions than I do. And I can disagree with their conclusions completely, but it does not take away their humanity and grace and beauty that God gave them in the beginning. So I would have to say it's more of a detoxing from anger. So for career, there's pretty much two parts. The Navy, which is what I do currently, and social media, which I do on the side and trying to build up at the moment. When it comes to Navy, I am bonding very well with the team that I am on right now. I enjoy them. They have many unique quirks and everything, and I'm able to learn so much from them professionally, but also just being able to relax and be calm and enjoy the moment and see it as kind of a break from other parts of my life and other aspects of reality that give me anxiety, because it's the simplicity of my work that allows me to kind of like wander and dream to a certain degree. When it comes to social media, what I've been doing is working on storylines, trying to be better, especially when it comes to talking and the confidence that I have, and being okay with making mistakes when I film. It's going to take time, but it'll be worth it. And for romance, the most unique aspect of this whole Lenten journey, I will have to say it's been a roller coaster of emotions and a definite challenge of confidence, and not so much confidence in myself, but confidence in my faith, especially because a lot of people think it is weird, and truly is. Even I, logically, from their point of view, it makes sense that they think it's weird. Even I think it's weird, but it really is just a whole leap of faith. And I can't really explain that to other people until they do see God and my faith as I do, which is a lack of control, which is surrendering everything and trusting that God has a better plan and everything is under his sovereignty. And then, of course, that brings up other questions and confusion. And you know what? There just comes a point where it's like, hey, you know what? I cannot say anything for 100%. But what I can say is, based on my experience, it is something that's worth it to try. And nothing against my friends, but part of me is like, I don't see you guys having the successful relationships that I'm seeking. I mean, some have good and some have learned, and I appreciate the various lessons that I've learned from everyone else's experience, but I know what it is that I'm seeking, and they can't really provide that kind of advice. But I am happy to take in their points of view, because it does make sure that I am not going into full delulu or a delusional state of mind. Do I think that I'm crazy? Not really. I think it's just one of those things that is going to be an amazing testimony one day. Even if I'm wrong, it's an act of faith that I'm pretty much recording and pretty much allowing other people to see for themselves and understand my mindset and journey and emotions through the whole thing. So that way they can say, okay, he was wrong, but this is how he grew and this is the benefits of it. Or he was right and this is the mindset that he had and this is how to approach things. So we'll see how that goes, but what I can say is nice to feel that I don't have to be in control of everything and understanding that it's not something that I do. It's more working on myself, focusing on the day at hand, becoming a better man to be able to be in a relationship. And then one day when it is time, things will start when they're meant to. And as I have been going through this whole Lenten process, there are 2 habits that I want to keep going, which I found to be very beneficial and useful in life. One is continuing to go to Adoration on Tuesdays pretty much 2 times a month when work allows. It's a complicated time thing and I'd rather not go into too much detail about work, but it is something I find to be so healthy and relaxing and beneficial in my life that it is worth continuing on. Another thing I want to do is continue the moderation that I have when it comes to alcohol and food, mainly like eating out. So I will pretty much plan ahead 3 days or allow myself a limit of 3 days to be able to eat out and drink. And everything else outside of that has to be within the usual bounds so that way I can continue on the other goals that I have. So my thing is I don't want to lose all the progress I've made during the Lenten season, so that way when Easter comes I'm not like losing my mind, pretty much just going backwards on all the things that I've been working towards, because the whole point of Lent is not so much to just give up things, is to become more the person that I'm meant to be and created to be. And that means that the vices that I work to get rid of I should try to keep away from completely in general and move on to the other aspects that I need to start working on in order to be the full, beautiful, creative being that I am. So I would like to say thank you so much for following me in my journey, for keeping up, for caring, for praying, wishing me well, and I hope that your journey is going amazing as well. And if you're seeing this sometime in the future, I hope that you're able to understand that this journey, even though it's difficult, is so worth it and that you'll see progress bit by bit. It may not go in the timeline that you're wishing for it to go, and it probably will be harder than you were expecting. But know that every single time you fall or when things get difficult, that's also one of the things that will bring out an aspect of you that is amazing and unique and will be so beneficial to not only yourself, but others in the future. So once again, thank you so much. Please continue to pray for me. I will be praying for you and your journey. And until next time, be blessed.